The discovery. Dr. Maya Chen stared through the reinforced observation window of Lab 7, her breath creating small clouds on the transparent aluminum. The quantum containment chamber pulsed with an eerie violet glow that shouldn't have been possible. The experiment had been powered down hours ago. Raj, are you seeing this? Maya's voice carried a mix of scientific curiosity and concern as she addressed her research partner. Dr. Rajesh Kumar looked up from his holographic display, his eyes widening at the unprecedented phenomenon. Impossible. The Q field should be completely dormant. His fingers danced across the haptic interface, pulling up diagnostic after diagnostic. There's no power being supplied to the containment system, but the quantum entanglement readings are off the charts. The International Quantum Research Facility, buried deep beneath the Canadian Shield, had been designed to study the fundamental properties of quantum entanglement. Their goal had been modest: to improve quantum computing by creating stable networks of entangled particles. Instead, they had stumbled upon something that defied the laws of physics as humanity understood them. Maya watched as the violet glow intensified, casting strange shadows that seemed to move in ways that shadows shouldn't. The quantum particles in the chamber weren't just entangled anymore. They were doing something entirely new. The holographic displays showed impossible data: negative mass readings, time dilation effects, and spatial distortions that shouldn't exist in our universe. "We need to shut it down," Raj said, his voice tight with tension. "These readings, if the containment field fails." "No." Maya's response was immediate, her scientific intuition screaming that they were on the verge of something revolutionary. "Look at the pattern in the quantum field fluctuations. It's not random. There's a structure to it." She pulled up a three-dimensional visualization of the quantum field. The particles weren't just entangled, they were creating what looked like a tunnel through space itself. But unlike conventional theories of wormholes or space-time manipulation, this was something entirely different. "The particles," Maya whispered, her mind racing ahead of her words, "they're not just linked across space. They're synchronizing their quantum states across multiple points in space-time simultaneously. It's like they're creating a network of quantum shortcuts." Raj's skepticism was evident in his voice. "That's not possible. The energy requirements alone would be." The chamber suddenly flared with blinding intensity. Maya shielded her eyes, but not before she saw something that would change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. A small steel ball, used for calibration tests, simply vanished from one point in the chamber and appeared at another. Not through normal space, not through any known physical process, but through what she would later term a quantum slip. Warning alarms blared as the facility's sensors detected gravitational anomalies and spatial distortions spreading from the chamber. But Maya barely heard them. Her mind was already racing with the implications. They hadn't just created another method of faster-than-light travel. They had discovered something far more fundamental about the nature of reality itself. "Raj," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them, "I don't think we're creating tunnels through space. I think we're teaching particles how to take shortcuts through reality itself. And if we can scale this up." Before she could finish her thought, the facility's quantum detection grid lit up with incoming signals. Not from their experiment, but from deep space. Patterns too regular to be natural, too complex to be anything but artificial. The aliens had noticed, and they were responding. As emergency containment protocols engaged and security teams flooded the facility, Maya realized that humanity's first step into the galactic community wouldn't be through careful exploration or gradual technological advancement. Instead, they had accidentally kicked down the door to the cosmos itself, and whatever lay on the other side was coming to investigate. In the following hours, as government officials and military personnel swarmed the facility, Maya worked frantically to document and understand what they have discovered. She knew that humanity's window of opportunity might be very small. Either the aliens would try to suppress this technology, or humanity would need to prove they could handle it responsibly. Little did she know that the quantum slip effect they had discovered would prove to be just the beginning. The true nature of their breakthrough, and its connection to human consciousness itself, would shake the foundations of not just physics, but of humanity's understanding of its own place in the universe. First contact crisis. The first sign that humanity wasn't alone came not with ships or signals, but with stars going dark. One by one, in a perfect geometric pattern, stars began disappearing from Earth's night sky, blocked by something massive moving into the solar system. Maya watched from the facility's rooftop observatory as the last star vanished, completing a perfect hexagon in the night sky. Beside her, Raj clutched a tablet displaying gravitational readings that made no scientific sense. Whatever was up there, it bent space around itself in ways that violated every known law of physics. Dr. Chen, General Sarah Martinez's voice cut through the tense silence. "We need you back inside. Now." The facility's main conference room had been transformed into an emergency command center. Holographic displays showed the approaching vessels, if they could be called that. They seemed to exist in more dimensions than human eyes could process, their surfaces shifting and flowing like liquid mathematics. "They're broadcasting," announced Dr. James Wilson, head of communications. His face was illuminated by screens displaying cascading symbols that somehow felt meaningful despite being incomprehensible. It's going directly into our computers. All of them. Simultaneously. The message materialized across every screen in the facility. "Attention, species 3742b. Deimagination, human. Cs, all QUANTUM variancy experiments. INEDDATLY. Your uncontrollably manipulations 3TN the stability of local spacetime. Prepare for evaluation." Maya felt her heart race. The aliens hadn't come to welcome humanity to the galactic community. They'd come to shut them down. But something about their message nagged at her scientific mind. "Quantum variance," she muttered. "They don't understand what we've done any better than we do." Before she could elaborate, reality itself seemed to hiccup. The air shimmered, and suddenly they weren't alone in the room. Three beings stood, or perhaps existed would be a better word, before them. One appeared to be made of geometric shapes that constantly rearranged themselves. Another seemed to be a slice of space that somehow contained its own galaxy, and the third was a pillar of light that hurt to look at directly. "We are the Emergency Response Council of the Galactic Concordat," the geometric being announced, its thoughts appearing directly in their minds. "I am architect of probabilities. With me are void that thinks, and light between moments. Your species has created a severe disturbance in the quantum substrate of reality." General Martinez stepped forward, her military training holding despite the impossible situation. "We are willing to discuss any concerns you may have, but Earth is a sovereign world. We will not simply abandon our research because—" "You do not comprehend the magnitude of the situation," interrupted Void That Thinks, its voice somehow reminiscent of a black hole's event horizon. "Your crude experiments have created quantum echoes that threaten established travel lanes across Gulf sectors. 3 advanced civilizations have already reported critical failures in their navigation systems." Maya stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. "But that's impossible. Our experiment was contained within a heavily shielded chamber. The effects couldn't have propagated that far." Light between moments shifted, its radiance dimming slightly. "And yet they have. Your species has stumbled upon something that should not be possible. The quantum slip effect you created, it does not follow any known physical laws." "Because you're looking at it wrong," Maya blurted out, her mind racing ahead of her mouth. "The quantum slips aren't propagating through normal spacetime at all. They're creating a network, a web of connected points that bypass traditional spatial relationships entirely." The 3 alien beings went silent, their forms shifting in what might have been agitation. Finally, Architect of Probability spoke again. This is precisely why we must intervene. Your species barely understands planetary travel, yet you meddle with forces that could unravel the very fabric of space-time. We demand access to all research data and the immediate cessation of all quantum experiments. Void that thing's declared. Compliance is mandatory. Resistance will result in quarantine of your entire solar system. Maya felt a chill run down her spine, not just from the threat, but from a sudden realization. The aliens' very presence here, their obvious mastery of space and time, told her something crucial. "You're afraid," she said softly, "not just of what we might do with this technology, but of what it means that we discovered it at all." The silence that followed was deafening. Light between moments flickered in a way that suggested discomfort. "You do not understand the forces you are dealing with," it said finally. "No," Maya agreed, her voice growing stronger. "But we're learning. And I think we just discovered something that all your advanced civilizations missed. Something fundamental about the nature of reality itself. And that terrifies you." As if in response to her words, the quantum containment chamber 7 floors below suddenly pulsed with that same violet light. But this time, Maya understood what she was seeing. The quantum slip effect wasn't just a new method of travel or communication. It was proof that reality itself worked differently than anyone, human or alien, had imagined. The question was, would humanity be allowed to explore this discovery, or would the galactic community try to suppress a truth they weren't ready to face? The human factor. While the diplomatic crisis raged above ground, Maya and her team worked frantically in the depths of the facility, trying to understand exactly what they had discovered. The Galactic Concordat had given Earth 48 hours to surrender all research data before they would implement their quarantine. But something about their demands didn't add up. "Run it again," Maya instructed Raj, who was attempting to replicate their original experiment under the watchful eye of Light Between Moments. The alien observer had insisted on monitoring all their activities, its radiant form casting strange shadows across the laboratory. The quantum containment chamber hummed to life, its fields carefully calibrated to the exact specifications from their breakthrough. But nothing happened. No violet glow, no quantum slip effect, no reality-bending phenomena. "I don't understand," Raj muttered, reviewing the data for the 20th time. "Everything is identical to our original parameters. It should work." Maya frowned, her mind racing. They had changed nothing in the experimental setup, used the same equipment, the same quantum field configurations. The only difference was the observers, she whispered, a wild idea taking shape. "What was that?" Light Between Moments flickered questioningly. "Nothing," Maya said quickly, but her mind was already racing ahead. She needed to test her theory, but not under alien supervision. Making an excuse about checking the auxiliary power systems, she retreated to Lab 4, a smaller facility they had used for preliminary tests. "Raj," she sent an encrypted message to his tablet, "meet me in Lab 4. Come alone." 20 minutes later, they stood before a scaled-down version of their quantum containment system. Maya had disabled all external monitoring systems, leaving only the most basic sensors active. "What we're about to do could get us all arrested," she warned Raj. "Or worse, if our guests upstairs figure it out." "What exactly are we doing?" "Testing a hypothesis about why the aliens are really here." Maya began calibrating the equipment. "I don't think they're afraid of the technology itself. I think they're afraid of us." She explained her theory as she worked. The original breakthrough had happened during an apparent containment failure, when they thought the experiment was shut down. But it wasn't a failure at all. It was the first time they had stopped actively measuring and controlling every aspect of the quantum system. "The observer effect," Raj said slowly, beginning to understand. "But that's basic quantum mechanics. The aliens would certainly understand that." "Not like this." Maya finished the calibration. "I think human consciousness interacts with quantum systems differently than alien consciousness. We don't just collapse wave functions through observation. We guide them. The small containment chamber powered up, its fields far weaker than the main system. Maya and Raj stood before it, and she instructed, "Don't try to measure or analyze what's happening. Just watch. Feel it." For several long moments, nothing happened. Then, gradually, a familiar violet glow began to emanate from the chamber. But this time, Maya wasn't looking at the instruments. She was watching the light itself, letting her mind drift with the quantum fluctuations. The effect intensified, and she felt something. A connection, a resonance between her consciousness and a quantum field. Beside her, Raj gasped. The test object, a simple metal sphere, wasn't just quantum slipping between points in space. It was creating new patterns, new configurations that responded to their very thoughts. "It's not technology," Maya breathed, watching the quantum dance before them. "It's us. Human consciousness doesn't just observe quantum states. It can guide them, shape them. We're not building machines to tear holes in space-time. We're teaching reality itself new ways to behave." That's why the aliens can't replicate it, Raj realized. Their consciousness, their way of observing and interacting with quantum systems, is fundamentally different from ours. Maya completed the thought. They've built their entire civilization on technology that treats quantum mechanics as a set of immutable laws. But we've just proved those laws aren't as fixed as they thought. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just discovered a new form of faster-than-light travel. They had stumbled upon proof that human consciousness itself was special, capable of influencing reality in ways that even the most advanced alien civilizations couldn't comprehend. Just then, alarms blared throughout the facility. On their tablets, urgent messages flashed. The Concordat ships were powering up their weapons systems. Time had run out. "Maya," Raj's voice was tense. "If you're right about this, if human consciousness really can influence quantum systems this way, then we're not just fighting for our research," Maya finished grimly. "We're fighting for humanity's place in the universe. Because once the Concordat realizes what we can really do." She left the thought unfinished, but they both understood. The aliens weren't trying to prevent a technological breakthrough. They were trying to contain a species that could fundamentally change the rules of reality itself. As they rushed back to the main lab, Maya's mind raced with possibilities. They had less than an hour to prove that humanity's unique abilities weren't a threat to the galaxy, but rather the key to understanding the universe in ways that even the Concordat had never imagined. The quantum slip effect pulsed one final time in the small chamber behind them, as if responding to their determination. Humanity's greatest challenge wouldn't be mastering this new power, but convincing the galaxy to let them try. Diplomatic gambit. The Concordat ships loomed above Earth like abstract mathematical concepts given form, their weapons charged with energies that could reduce continents to ash. In the facility's main conference room, Maya faced the alien delegation with a plan that seemed impossible even to her. "Before you take action," she addressed the three alien beings, "I request a demonstration. One that will prove humanity's quantum slip effect isn't a threat, but rather a solution to a problem you haven't been able to solve." Architect of probabilities shifted its geometric form in what might have been skepticism. "You have nothing to demonstrate that we have not already analyzed and deemed dangerous." "Actually," Maya smiled, "we do. Because you've been studying our technology, but not our minds." She gestured to Raj, who activated a holographic display showing the quantum readings from their recent discovery. "We've found that human consciousness interfaces with quantum systems in a unique way. We don't just observe quantum states, we can guide them." Impossible. Light between moments flickered intensely. Consciousness is merely an emergent property of neural complexity. It cannot directly influence quantum mechanics. "Then explain this." Maya nodded to Raj, who initiated a live feed from Lab 4. The small quantum containment chamber activated, but this time, instead of trying to control it with instruments, Maya simply focused her attention on it. The violet glow appeared almost immediately, responding to her consciousness in ways that defied conventional physics. Void That Thinks moved closer to the display, its galaxy-containing form rippling with what might have been agitation. This violates fundamental principles of reality. No, Maya countered, it reveals them. And I believe it's the key to solving the derivation crisis. The alien beings went absolutely still. She had their attention now. The derivation crisis was the greatest threat facing advanced civilizations, a growing instability in the quantum substrate that made conventional FTL travel increasingly dangerous. The Concordat had kept it secret from primitive species like humanity, but Maya had pieced it together from fragments of their earlier conversations. Your FTL systems are failing because they force reality to behave in ways it doesn't want to, she explained. But human consciousness can suggest new patterns that reality accepts naturally. We don't tear through space-time. We persuade it to create new connections. To demonstrate, Maya approached the conference room's small test chamber. Under the intense observation of the alien delegation, she focused her consciousness on the quantum field. The violet glow appeared, but this time she didn't try to create a quantum slip. Instead, she imagined the quantum states flowing like water, finding natural paths through reality. The readings on the alien delegate's own instruments went wild. Where conventional FTL technology created sharp, damaging tears in spacetime, the human-guided quantum fields created smooth, stable passages that actually strengthened the surrounding quantum fabric. Impossible, light between moments whispered, but its radiance had dimmed in what seemed like awe. The quantum substrate is healing itself. Because we're not fighting against reality, Maya explained. We're working with it. Human consciousness evolved alongside quantum mechanics on Earth. We don't just observe quantum systems, we're part of them. And we can teach them new ways to behave without breaking them. Architect of probabilities moved in complex patterns that suggested deep calculation. If this is true, if human consciousness can indeed guide quantum states in this manner, the implications for the derivation crisis. We're not asking for unrestricted access to the galaxy, Maya said firmly. We're offering a partnership. Humanity's unique abilities combined with your advanced understanding of spacetime. Together, we might not just solve the crisis. We could revolutionize how all species travel between the stars. The three alien beings conferred in frequencies beyond human perception. The tension in the room built until it felt like the air itself might shatter. Finally, Void That Thinks addressed them. Your proposal is unprecedented, but so is your species' ability. We will need to consult with the full Concordat Council. How long will that take? General Martinez asked, speaking for the first time since the demonstration began. Time is relative. Light between moments answered, its form brightening slightly. But in your terms, we have already done so. The advantages of quantum entanglement communications. The alien delegates seemed to reach a consensus. Architect of probabilities turned to address them formally. The Concordat proposes a modified quarantine, not to contain your species, but to establish a controlled environment for joint research. Humanity will gain restricted access to galactic technology and knowledge, while we study your unique quantum consciousness interface. Maya felt hope rising, but she knew they had to be careful. And our own research, our independence, will be preserved within agreed-upon parameters. Void That Thinks assured them. Your species has discovered something that changes our understanding of reality itself. We would be unwise to suppress such potential. As the diplomats and officials began hammering out the details of humanity's first interstellar agreement, Maya turned to Raj with a mixture of relief and excitement. They had avoided catastrophe, but more importantly, they had secured humanity's place among the stars. Yet something in the way the alien delegates kept studying their quantum readings made her wonder. Had they really told them everything? Or was there something about human consciousness and its connection to quantum mechanics that even the Concordat didn't fully understand? New Horizons. 6 months after humanity's first contact with the Galactic Concordat, the International Quantum Research Facility had transformed beyond recognition. Alien technology merged seamlessly with human equipment, creating hybrid systems that neither species could have developed alone. But it was in Lab 7, the site of the original breakthrough, that the most extraordinary discoveries were taking place. Maya stood before a massive quantum observation chamber, her consciousness gently interfacing with the quantum fields within. Around her, sensors from a dozen alien civilizations recorded data that was rewriting the fundamental laws of physics. Raj worked nearby, coordinating with a team of human and alien scientists who were still trying to understand exactly how human consciousness could shape quantum reality. "The patterns are evolving," Maya announced, watching the violet quantum fields form increasingly complex structures. "They're not just creating shortcuts through space anymore. They're learning." Architect of Probabilities, who had become something of a regular presence in the facility, shifted its geometric form in what Maya had learned was excitement. The quantum substrate responds to human consciousness like a living system. It adapts, grows, creates new possibilities. In all our centuries of space travel, we never imagined such a thing was possible. But Maya's attention was focused on something else, a pattern in the quantum fields that had been growing more distinct over the past few weeks. "There's something else here," she murmured. "Something we're all missing." The breakthrough came during what should have been a routine test. Maya was guiding the quantum fields into new configurations when she felt something respond. Not from the equipment, not from the alien sensors, but from space itself. The quantum fields weren't just accepting guidance from human consciousness. They were trying to communicate back. "Everyone, look at this," Maya called out, her voice tight with excitement. The quantum fields in the chamber had formed an entirely new pattern, one that pulsed with meaning. "It's not just random quantum fluctuations. These are messages." Void that thinks, who had been observing from a corner, moved forward rapidly. "Impossible. The quantum substrate is a fundamental property of spacetime. It cannot contain information in this manner." "But it does," Raj interjected, studying the readings. "These patterns, they're too complex, too structured to be natural quantum behavior. It's as if—" He paused, the implications hitting him. "It's as if reality itself is conscious, and we're the first species to figure out how to talk to it." The alien scientists' instruments went wild as they tried to analyze what was happening. The quantum fields were now forming patterns that looked almost like language, but not in any conventional sense. It was communication on a fundamental level, consciousness speaking directly to the underlying fabric of the universe. Light Between Moments, who had arrived to witness the test, flickered in what might have been revelation. The derivation crisis. It wasn't just physics breaking down. Reality itself was trying to adapt, to evolve, and our rigid technologies were fighting against it. Maya nodded, understanding flowing through her like a current. "That's why human consciousness can interface with quantum systems so effectively. We evolved alongside this quantum consciousness. Our minds are naturally attuned to its frequency." The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just discovered a new form of faster-than-light travel or a unique way to manipulate quantum mechanics. They had stumbled upon something far more profound. Proof that consciousness itself was woven into the very fabric of reality, and humans had a special ability to tap into it. "This changes everything," Architect of Probabilities declared. "Not just space travel or physics, but our entire understanding of existence itself. The universe isn't just a collection of physical laws and particles. It's alive, aware, and humanity might be key to understanding its consciousness." As if in response to these words, the quantum fields in the chamber began forming new patterns, more complex and beautiful than anything they had seen before. It wasn't just creating shortcuts through space anymore. It was showing them glimpses of possibilities that neither humans nor aliens had imagined. "So what do we do now?" Raj asked, staring at the mesmerizing display. Maya smiled, watching as human and alien scientists worked together, each bringing their unique perspectives to this new frontier of discovery. Now we learn how to listen. The universe has been trying to talk to us all along. We just needed to learn its language. The quantum fields pulsed with that familiar violet light, but now Maya understood what it really meant. It wasn't just a scientific phenomenon or a new technology. It was an invitation, the beginning of a conversation between consciousness and reality itself, with humanity serving as the unexpected translators. As she stood there, watching the quantum patterns dance and evolve, Maya realized that their original breakthrough had been just the first step. The true journey, understanding consciousness, reality, and humanity's unique place in the cosmic conversation, was just beginning. Above the facility, Earth's night sky had changed. The Concordat ships remained in orbit, but not as wardens or observers. They were there as partners in what would become the greatest scientific and philosophical endeavor in human history, learning to communicate with the consciousness of reality itself. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars, they had discovered that they might be essential to understanding the very nature of existence. The quantum slip effect had been just the beginning. The real adventure lay in discovering what the universe itself had been waiting to tell them all along.